Expert says we need to shut down Biden's woke and nonsense climate policies. Y'all like the video and check this out.
The Biden administration has taken more action on climate change than any other president, allocating billions in funds for programs like reducing greenhouse gas, expanding EV chargers, pushing for clean school buses, and going off the grid. So what should the top priorities be for the Trump administration to roll back the costly climate agenda? Joining us now is Mark Morano. He's the publisher of ClimateDepot.com. Mark's always great to have you on. So you were on our friend Joe Piscopo's show, sort of fantasizing about having the shortest lived federal job, 2 weeks for you to go and clean out all these wasteful climate directives and policies. So tell us what you would do in those 2 weeks, how you would advise President Trump to deal with all this waste and climate directives.
Well, from the Department of Transportation to the Department of Energy to the Pentagon. In fact, Biden made every climate agency a climate agency. My fantasy was to have the shortest lived job in federal history, go in for about 2 weeks, shorter than some Trump's previous press secretaries, but we won't get into that. But go in and literally defund and close all of the woke climate programs, particularly starting in places like the Navy or in the Pentagon, Department of Army, where they actually have all these climate initiatives and they actually have the mission of the Army and the Navy as one of their focuses is going after fighting climate change, which, by the way, isn't a thing. There's no such thing as climate action or fighting climate change. Even the Department of Transportation, in Obama's department, they had studies looking at how fatal car crashes went up due to global warming. You have to cut the funding, you have to cut the programs, you have to fire the employees at the very least, since you can't, hard to fire people, reassign them. I would love to preside over that, shut all this nonsense down, the most egregious examples, and then walk away from federal service, because that's what needs to be done, is they have to be shut immediately. But even beyond that, Rachel, so much of this is the narrative in recasting this entire global fight. But of course, the biggest of all, and this has to come from Donald Trump, he has to submit the UN Paris Agreement, the Climate Pact, to the United States Senate as a treaty, get the Senate to reject it and treat it as a treaty, and then that gets us out of not only that agreement, but the entire UN climate process going back to 1992, when George H.W. Bush got us into the whole mess at the Rio Earth Summit in 1992, because he wanted Republicans to appear Earth-friendly. So he gets us involved in this UN sustainable development mess. It's time for Donald Trump 2.0 to reverse, what was that, 32 years ago, that mess that began, 33 years ago.
No question about it.
Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Make sure you like the video, follow for more.